You are listening to Any Given Sunday, Australia.
Yes, hello and welcome to the Any Given Sunday Australia podcast, the number one podcast in at least 3 households, 1 studio, American Football Australia head office, and the NFL Australia head office. We're also trending worldwide. China is pretty big at the moment. Joining us, as always, in the west wing of his apartment at Danny Webb, AGSAU. How are you, mate?
Ni hao.
Ni hao. Yes, we are growing, so good that you are all over that. Apologies that we are a little bit later than normal. Life gets in the way, a little bit of illness, these things happen, but we are getting on and still speaking about the upcoming big slate of games Sunday morning. There was a game last week. We don't need to worry about that. There was a game Friday, which we're going to get straight onto. The Rams upsetting, technically, the Vikings 30-20. A bit of a controversial finish, but which you'll talk about in 1 second, Danny boy. But I still think the Rams were the better team and getting the job done, especially in the second half. Matthew Stafford looked pretty good, and Puka Nacua coming back, he looked amazing as well.
Yeah, so when you got Puka Nacua coming back, getting 7 receptions for 106 yards, it's definitely going to help the way that you've been playing. And then like Cooper Kupp still being there, Williams getting a touchdown every single game, which helped us in the betting markets. Actually, I think it might have been the only leg that we won. But just a quick little shout out to us and betting. We are plus 14 units so far in 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
So if you're not on board, get on board. Also, thank you for the stats, Jack Rickard, for typing them up for us. Otherwise, we'd have no idea. We just know we're in the winning column. But to know exactly that we're 14.5 units up, it's nice to have a little betting analyst with us. But yes, this game, decided by the refs. Again, in that final play, the Vikings had it. Sam Darnold in the end zone, in the Rams end zone, and then had a massive face masks pull. Like, I've never seen a helmet get so far pulled back and then not actually be called for anything. So instead of that being a 15-yard penalty and a first down, it was a safety, actually. Give some points to the Rams as well while you're at it. It was unfortunate to see because we had Justin Jefferson in a little reception ladder as well. He ended on 8. He definitely would have got 2 more in that final drive because he had 5 in the first quarter. So he only had 3. So a couple more you thought were a shoo-in, but unfortunately couldn't get the job done. Interesting to see the Vikings on a little bit of a losing streak now.
They are, yeah. 5-0 now, 5-2 in the toughest division in the league. So Packers get the job done this week against Jacksonville. We actually jump them. So 2 weeks ago, you wouldn't have thought that. But yeah, it is a bit disappointing the way it finished. But yeah, like I said, I feel like the Rams were the better team for the longer stretch. And you are right. Jefferson had 5 in the first. He had 3 in the first drive, 5 in the first quarter. But they did lock down him after that. Only 8, so 3 for the next 3 quarters was big by the Rams. So yeah, good win for them going forward because I feel like Cooper Kupp's name's been thrown up. If they go 2-5, now they're 3-4. If they go 2-5, it's easy to say, oh, look, maybe season's a bit done. We'll look after him. We'll send him somewhere else. Puka Nacua is obviously the number 1 going forward. Now that they're 3-4, they're still in their division, especially. I reckon Cooper Kupp hangs around a bit longer.
Yeah, you got to take Cooper Kupp off that trade block, trade market, whatever you want to call it. You got to get him off it because Rams fans would lose their mind. If you're 3-4, you've still got a chance.
Yeah.
You've still got a chance. You're on a little bit of a winning streak. You're doing all right. You're making your way to the playoffs again, and you might actually have a little bit of a run. If you trade a superstar at 2-5, it's understandable. You trade him at 3-4, not okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Some other big news coming out of last week, some pretty key injuries to some teams that are in some, good standings. One injury that I think a lot of people have actually been praying for, which sucks a little bit. But to start off with Godwin, looks like he's done for the year with a pretty bad dislocated ankle, Dr. Danny.
Oh, yeah, bad enough that ESPN did not want to show a little replay of it as well. I did a little deep dive and found it. Pretty grim. Very clear that his ankle dislocated. I wasn't sure at the time if it was a broken ankle or a dislocation, but very evident injury on that play. But it happened with 1 minute left, and they were down by 10. you don't need to make that play. Like you within 1 minute, you're really getting that back. I know Tampa Bay are looking for every single win they possibly can because they had Super Bowl aspirations. Well, now your aspirations are gone because you've lost Goodwin and Mike Evans as well. Did a hammy very early on. It seems like just a little bit of a twinge, and he's probably out into the bye week. But very frustrating loss for any Tampa Bay fans out there.
Yeah, and you could see it in their face as soon as he went down. That it obviously looked grim, and a few of the boys must have seen it. And Baker, you could see his face. He was throwing his helmet on the ground. And also a big game this week. They've got Atlanta. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, they had that massive, 500-yard game for Kirk. So to lose your two key weapons, it's going to be pretty tough sledding for Bucks going forward for the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, and with the way that they're playing and the way they started this season, there was talks of like a deep playoff run, a very deep playoff run. And now you're getting really shallow on the depth chart. So I think the next cab off the rank is Jalen McMillan, Tommy Boy. That's the second McMillan we've seen in the league so far this year. And then behind him is Trey Palmer and Sterling Shepard. Have you heard of those guys?
Sterling Shepard, yeah, he's an older veteran type, so he'd be good to have around the team, but he's not your number one, not anymore. So, yeah, interesting. They're going to be, like I said, a bit of tough sledding. Once they get Mike Evans back in, 3 to 4 weeks, different, but could be that I was going to suggest maybe Cooper Kupp could be someone they could have chased, but it's probably not the case now.
No, I think Cooper Kupp's definitely been taken off that little trade block.
But do they go to that? The deadline's coming up. Do they look to that and think, well, maybe we need to replace Godwin in the next few weeks? One to look out for sure. Deshaun Watson going down Achilles. You could see it. You could see the reverberation up the calf. I think a lot of Browns fans are probably happy. I think Jameson has been named as the starter this week. Deshaun Kaiser not quite getting the start. I don't know if he's injured or a concussion or something, but yeah, Jameson getting the start. But Deshaun is a $70 million cap next year and the year after, a cap hit. That's huge.
I can't see him coming back from this one. Some fans cheered as he got carted out, which was quite sad. Other fans booed. Very ugly scenes in Cleveland. It's probably not where you really want to be, especially as a quarterback that kind of no one really wants you there. There's so many sexual allegations that are still coming out. He's in a lot of trouble, realistically, now on and off the field. I can't see him coming back from this one.
He's already had 2 knee recos as well. So 2 knee recos into an Achilles. Yeah, that's tough sledding to come back again. I love that little tough sledding at the moment. He's pushing shit uphill. To come back from that. It's an old man's injury, and that's going to hurt.
Oh, I'm sure. He's done for 12 months, minimum done for 12 months. And then I don't even think Cleveland will want him back.
Like you said, the crowd was booing and cheering when he's going up, which is sad. Like you said, it's not what we want to see. He's another human at the end of the day. But yeah, he's brought it on himself. So, Jaden Daniels did go off early in their game against the Panthers. They did go on to absolutely, I think Marcus Mariota stepped in and absolutely dominated them, but rib injury, what have you heard?
Hey, just quick shout out to Marcus Mariota here. Still fighting. You just can't get him down. So you put him on any team, put him as any backup. Like he was Philly's backup last year and didn't really do anything too fantastic. But great to see him going out there and absolutely competing, getting the job done. Yes, you're playing against the Panthers and he absolutely dominated. But Jaden Daniels, rib injury. Luckily, they're saying week to week. He didn't practice earlier in the week. I think it's going to come out tomorrow. He's still listed as questionable. But yeah, the Commanders coming up to face the Bears. So the number 1 and number 2 draft pick, top touted rookies. You want to see him battle against one another. So hopefully he's good enough to play.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, week to week. He's never a good thing to hear. You want to hear straight away. His mum actually tweeted straight away he's good. So let's go by her and then say that he's cherry ripe and he'll be up.
Mama Daniels?
Mama Daniel. I think it's Mama Jackson, but close enough. Jameson Williams, not an injury, but has been banned for PED use. How much is this going to hurt the Lions' offense going forward, mate?
Yeah, a lot. So the Lions are doing incredibly well. Reece Thompson, my number 1 Lions fan, He hits me every week being like, how about them Lions? And exactly right. How about them Lions? Because they are now the number one in your division, the hardest division in the league, apparently. He's going to miss the 2 games. Luckily for him, that's just against the Titans and like some other team that's not that great. The Packers.
Green Bay.
Packers,
Green Bay, baby.
Packers or something like that. So I don't know if it's officially come out yet. So he's either tested positive for a banned substance, just given the length of his suspension, which would be a stimulant, a diuretic, or a masking agent, or he said no to doing a test. The issue is, if you said no to doing a test, instant 2-game ban, but then you still got to come back and do one. So who knows? Who knows what's actually going on there? Hopefully, for the Lions' sake, he has just got something in his system that shouldn't have been there, and by the time the 2 weeks is up, he'll be back to playing. Because I like watching the Lions do well. I really am. I think they're a great team to watch. They're super enjoyable. Yes, it's going to hurt them, but they've still got weapons. They've got so many weapons. So they should be fine. They should be able to get it done. Definitely against the Titans. Packers, yes, we all know it's going to be a tight matchup and it'll be a good match. But they should get the job done against the Titans anyway. So it's really the one game we are concerned about is against Green Bay.
Yeah, the only, he's not, Amon-Ra St. Brown is their number one for sure, 100%. But just having those extra weapons, which takes the pressure off Amon-Ra and, double teaming and all those kind of things. So that's where I think it's going to hurt him more than anything. Just the options that, although the Lions have more options and more, they put in the big guys out at wide out. So, yeah, look, I think they will be all right. But he's had problems in the past, not with just PEDs. He's also, I know he hurt himself. I think he did his knee his first year, so he missed the entire year. But he also got done for betting, I reckon, and he had to miss a few games or for betting on things when you're not supposed to. So, yeah, look, a few things he's got to get sorted. Hopefully he's an enormous talent, so hopefully he can sort that shit out and he'll be cherry ripe going forward. Few more stories that we've got to kind of keep our eye across this week. Looks like Tua's coming back, which we'd all expected it as soon as he was all right that he was going to. But I heard a rumour that he could be... Well, he's definitely going to train with it, but is he going to play with the Guardian cap on?
He probably should. We've seen running backs out there this year and a couple of cornerbacks rocking it. Yes, okay, it's not the most prettiest look. You're not having that smooth helmet. But at the end of the day, it's your brain. You got to protect yourself after the NFL. It's called not for long for a reason. And if you're going to have a lifelong injury that's going to pop up later down the line, you got to protect your noggin at the end of the day. You got to look after yourself. So I think 100% he should be playing with it if he's going to be playing, because that man has hit his head far too many times. He is coming back at a very good time, I guess. They need him. They need him back. The Dolphins have been absolutely nothing without him. They're still sitting at 2-4, sitting 3 games behind Buffalo in the AFC East. And their schedule moving forward, like if he's back this week, it's against the Cardinals. And they've got the Bills, Rams, and Raiders. So it's quite a nice stretch to come back into, I think.
Yeah, I see. Tyreek actually tweeted, it was something like put a million on me or something for yards because we've got Tua back this week. So it might be not a bad little bet to say Tua for yards. They definitely need him, and I think he is. I reckon he'll play. I don't know if it's official yet, but look, good on him. Apparently he didn't have any symptoms, as soon as he was alert and good to go, besides, the stiff arms and being obviously knocked out. But after that, he was symptom-free straight away. So I guess as good as it could have been for as long as it's been. So, look, good on him getting out there. And he's a footballer, so he'll get out there and play. And, they need him. So we'll see how that turns around. But just have a look at that money. Or might have maybe a ladder for Tyreek. Might be something to look at this week. Some enormous news did come out. It's probably lucky that we've been able to hold off our podcast this week because some enormous news has come out. We're just trying to hand the Chiefs the Super Bowl, surely, with Hopkins going to the Chiefs. The guy that's got 5x hands, he needs gloves that are 5 times bigger than normal. And apparently, I don't look into this. I haven't looked into the stats, but everywhere that Mahomes has been struggling is where Hopkins will come in to play. Like, I think it's 5 to 10 yards he's like number 3 in the league still, Hopkins. And that's where Mahomes has really been struggling passing the ball. He's at 5 to 10 to 15 yards. So, grouse. They're just going to come in and dominate.
Yeah, so you got yourself a little bit excited there. I don't think you actually said the news. So D-Hop has officially been traded to the Chiefs.
I said Hopkins at the Chiefs, but that's about it.
He is going for a 2025 fifth-round pick, which will become a 4th if the Chiefs make the Super Bowl, and plays in 60% of the snaps. So there's a little caveat there. And the Chiefs will be doing everything they can to make the Super Bowl. And if they're doing that, he will be playing 60% of the snaps. So it's a very smart trade by the Titans to see if they can get a 4th for him. The Chiefs already lost Brown, Rice, and Juju. Smith picked up a hamstring injury, so they definitely need it. The Chiefs love a mid-season acquisition, which normally turned out pretty well for them. So in 2022, they picked up Kadarius Toney. Toney scored a touchdown and set up another for their 4th quarter win against the Eagles, which we don't like to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year they picked up Mecole Hardman, who caught the winning touchdown in overtime. So 2 early punting, but let's say
I was going to say D-Hop touchdown in the Super Bowl.
D-Hop touchdown in the Super Bowl for sure, but the odds are going to be pretty low unless all the other healthy players are back. But let's say everyone is back. Maybe his odds are a little bit juicier. Something we've got to be looking at deep into the future. But yes, it is a much needed signing for the Chiefs, but it is just going to make them more and more dominant. So this is the area they've been struggling the most in, is their passing game, because their wide receivers are all banged up. Man, it makes the league tough, doesn't it?
How stupid is it to say, like, you're saying that this is something they need? They're 6-0. They're 6-0. The only team that's undefeated. Yeah, look, they really need this. You're like, fuck, man. Like, yeah, nah. Let's whoever's writing the script, just we want a three-peat. Let's make this happen. So yeah, but they have been winning, and it's probably the last 12 months really, the back end of last season and now the start of this season. They're winning on their defense. That's what's getting the job done. They've gone, we don't want to have to score 30 points every game to make sure we win. So they've been elite on the defensive side of things ever since they signed Chris Jones to that enormous contract. They've been elite since then. So yeah. No, just they're trying their best to give it to them. Yep,
three-peats on the cards. Like, what else is there? What else is there to say?
Yeah, nothing. There's nothing. Let's go on to the biggest story. This is the biggest story in the NFL. Saleh, who's just been, I know he wasn't the greatest head coach, but he was an elite defensive coordinator at his time in San Fran. I don't know if he's been signed or he's official, but he's in Green Bay as I believe, an offensive scout. So he's looking 2 or 3 games ahead at who we're going to be playing and scouting their offense, defense. So huge for Green Bay. I don't know what the odds are, but surely this puts us in Super Bowl contention.
Saleh, my friend, go on holiday. Have the rest of the year off. It has been tough. It was a tough start to the season. You got fired probably a little bit too soon, as we can see as what's happened with the Jets. It didn't really make a difference whether you were there or not. The Jets were losing anyway. Go on a holiday, mate. Just go on a bloody holiday. Yeah, so I think his role is actually to look at the team's defense and what the defense is going to bring, so your offense can then perform better against whichever
sense.
defense that you're at. So he's almost a defensive analyst of other teams to help your offense. Confusing role.
Makes sense. Makes sense. It's only going to help us. And I know that him and Matt LaFleur, they were best men at each other's weddings, so they're best friends going back. So realistically, it's not a surprise.
So he just tapped him on the shoulder, being like, "Hey, mate, you want some money? I'll throw a contract at you."
Well, no,
let's make up a role.
The Jets are paying him. He's working for free for Green Bay. How good's that? We're dominating. This is the best. So yeah, I think I woke up. You might have been on night shift and sent me that. A photo of Saleh in Green Bay. How good's this? It's only going to help us. We're only going to get better. So, yeah, I don't know what the odds are, but Green Bay for the Super Bowl, baby.
Mate, we all know you're already on that at the start of the season.
100%. I'm 100% on it.
Which the cash out's probably at 0.01 cent.
Yeah, they're not. They've suspended it at the moment, but. A news story that I don't know if I floated it on the podcast or I just said it to you privately, but I said that Alvin Kamara might be looking elsewhere now that the Saints are banged up and struggling a little bit after going 2-0, now they're 2-5. During the week, he signs on. So he's not going anywhere. He's staying at the Saints. He's signed on for another couple of years for some big cash. But you sent me news at the same time. I kind of read it half asleep, and I was like, oh, yeah, no, he's signed somewhere else. But he's been playing injured.
Yeah, so it's actually, throughout the season, he's already played multiple games with broken ribs and just powered through. And I don't know if anyone's broken their ribs. You can't breathe. Like, it is a horrible, horrible injury. And then it's just come out that last week he was playing with a broken right hand. And he's still dominating.
Yeah, we had him for a tree, didn't we? Or a ladder, sorry. I got to stop calling it a tree. And I think we hit most of it.
Yeah, for sure. And we generally do hit most of our bets. Did I say that we're plus 14 units in 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Plus 14 units in 3 weeks. Wow-wee.
Thanks, Jackie.
little self-tap on the back. But yeah, what a machine. No wonder that he signed on with the Saints and he's just going to keep on playing because the Saints would love to have him. You'd almost give him anything to keep him there, really. If he's willing to go out and play absolutely banged up, injured, continue to play and continue to dominate, give him the money. Give him it all. Have it.
Yeah, I agree. He is the Saints at the moment, and he's probably going to continue to be the Saints for the next couple of years. So good on him. Bryce Young, he's back. He's starting against the Bo Nix Broncos.
Yeah, so after the Panthers getting absolutely dominated by the Commanders, it wasn't really a surprise. Their season's well and truly done, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Panthers, that is, at this point. Because
I don't think you're going. It's not much of a stretch to say that they're done.
Yeah, well, 1-6. It's just not looking pretty, is it? So I feel like they've gone back to trying to redevelop Bryce. They traded up to get him. He hasn't paid out yet. He's not playing well. Maybe these couple of games off is going to give him a little bit more motivation to go out there and actually try and get the job done and complete some passes and look like a starting quarterback that was a number 1 draft pick. Who knows? I don't think the Panthers or Carolina's the home for him. I think he probably needs to be nurtured somewhere else, sit behind a veteran QB and actually learn the game before taking over once they retire. I think that's probably more his role where he'll develop the most because right now you only dropped him in week 3 or whatever it was.
We're going into week 8. Yeah, you're right. But, I think you make a good point. Even if they are kind of shopping him around, might as well put him out there and give some tape for the other teams to look and be like, you know what, he has some promise, might be able to go on a run, get 2 or 3 games in a row, but there's no point. Like you said, they're not going anywhere. Might as well play him, and if they do keep him, give him some reps. If they don't, they're giving some tape. So, yeah, huge for him to go out, and big for his confidence. He might have gained a few things in the last 3 or 4 weeks, and you never know. See what happens when he comes out. It is a huge slate this week. I had a hard time actually picking a couple of games we're going to talk about. We could have gone even like Colts and Texans, Falcons, Bucks. Your Eagles are playing the Bengals. They're on a bit of a run back. Everyone's kind of been a bit quiet after their shit start, but the Bengals are on a bit of a roll. They're making their way back. We have gone with the 4-2 Bears against the 5-2 Commanders. The Bears actually have a 2.5 point minus 2.5. They're favoured by 2.5, and it's about 50-50% of the betting. $1.65 for the Bears, $2.31 for the Commanders. We have only presumed that this is because Jaden Daniels is still week to week. We're fingers crossed that he gets out there and plays. If not, Marcus Mariota steps in. I'm pretty comfortable saying that the $2.31 Commanders is my any given Sunday bet of the week because even with Marcus Mariota, who looked good when he came in, I think they're a red-hot show against the Bears. They're at home, the Commanders, so I'm pretty happy to say $2.31 is very juicy for the Commanders. I think it'll be a good game. It's a game, like you said, hopefully Jaden Daniels does play, and it's a game to look into the future and see what these boys can bring and what we might have for the next 10 years.
I think this is going to be an incredible matchup for that exact reason. You want to see these 2 young quarterbacks going at one another. The Bears are actually on a 3-week win streak as well. So after starting 1-2, they've gone on to go 4-2 and still somehow at the bottom of a division, which is crazy. But
then, hang on, if they win, they're equal with the Vikings.
Yeah, You're honestly the NFC North, and I hate it. I hate it because your Packers are in the NFC North is wild,
Yeah.
absolutely wild to watch. Sorry, yeah. So the Bears are on a bit of a roll anyway. Caleb Williams is finally found his feet. He's a lot more settled. He's very pumped up, very excited. So, man, to watch this quarterback clash, this rookie quarterback clash, either of them could have gone 1 and 2. They could have swapped spots easy in this year's draft. So it's gonna be so good to watch these two teams go head to head. And it's a nice early game for us, well, down in Melbourne anyway. Little 7:25 watcher.
Juicy. The only thing, the Bears are coming off the bye as well, so whether that gives them a bit of an advantage, I'm not sure. Yeah, let's fingers crossed. It's a game time decision for Jaden Daniels. I reckon if he plays, that 231 is going to drop pretty quickly. So I'd be getting on it very soon if I was anyone who's actually thinking about getting on our Any Given Sunday bet of the week.
Where are we at? 4 and 2?
Technically, yeah. You pick 2 every week. I've only gone for the 1. I don't know what the Packers are paying, but Packers are my second pick Any Given Sunday. They'd be well and truly favourites against the Jags, I would have thought.
Yeah, that is not an Any Given Sunday pick.
It is. It's my Any Given Sunday bet of the week. The other game is the Sunday night game. The Cowboys, the 3-3 Cowboys against the 3-4 49ers. I reckon you said the start of the year, the Cowboys and the Niners, it's going to be 3-3 versus 3-4. You would have laughed at me. The Niners are banged up, but they are 3.5 points favourites, and 68% of the people are on the Niners at $1.47. I heard a stat during the week listening to the Pat McAfee show. The last 3 weeks, if a team has been more than 60% of the public behind them, they went, I think it was 7-2, 9-0, 7-2 the last 3 weeks. So 68% of the people think the 49ers at $1.47, that might be juice enough.
I think so, and we're forgetting about the Lions curse. So prior to the bye week that the Cowboys was just on, they got absolutely dominated by the Lions. And we've seen the trend that any team that plays the Lions, the following week, they lose. So no wonder all the money's on the 49ers. I'm jumping on the 49ers.
Yeah. What about 3.5?
If the 49ers are going to win, they're probably going to dominate because it seems like anytime Dallas get down, they just crumble. It's either Dallas are winning or they're losing by a lot. So I think, the 3.5's probably safe. I'd rather 2.5. Probably take a 2.5 just so you got that field goal in there. But I think they'll get the job done relatively easier, even though they are banged up.
I should have asked you. I'm going to jump on the Niners too. I just think the Cowboys Jerry Jones come out during the week and was just, bagging his team and bagging his coach, which is probably fair enough, but I don't think you want to hear that from your owner. So I reckon they're a little bit of a rabble in 49ers. They really need a win in San Fran. They've been haven't been great in San Fran, so I think that's enough to get them over the line. What about the Bears Commanders, mate? I didn't actually get your tip.
No, I'm a big Washington fan this year, and Jaden Daniels all the way. So hopefully he's back and healthy. I'm willing to take the risk that he is going to play, so give me the Commanders.
Yeah, nice. And that, mate, have a 2.5 head start as well, even better.
Yeah, I reckon that's fine. The only reason that I'd want the Commanders to lose is because then they'd be 2 games up on Philly.
They're in your division.
And I do not want that. I do not want that as a Eagles fan.
Yeah, so you want the Commanders to lose for your Eagles, but I want the Commanders to win for my Packers just because the Bears are just on our heels. Just yeah.
It's a very important any given Sunday game.
It is.
Right
it's
now.
huge. How are your Eagles going to go against the Bengals, mate? Just a quick one.
So we're playing in Cincy. Haven't been playing that well on the road. We're 2-1. Like it's not the worst. We're 2-1 at home, 2-1 on the road. So who knows? Flip of a coin. Bengals are playing a lot better. It depends if we've done some work on our defense in this week.
Yeah, it should be a good game, really. I don't know either, really. I do think the Bengals are probably going to come out and surprise you, which sucks for you, but hopefully it's a good game. My Packers, just an interesting note for you, we're playing down in Jacksonville. The last time we played in Jacksonville was actually against the Saints. I reckon there must have been a hurricane or something like that, and New Orleans was no good, so we played the Saints week 1 in Jacksonville, and we got absolutely smashed. So that wasn't this year. That was Aaron Rodgers' era. So, yeah, hopefully it's not the same result. I do think that we're gonna have the Jags number.
The Jags can only win if they're playing in London, can't they?
It's a good point. So if we do lose to the Jags, it's probably season over. We'll blow it up. Blow up Green Bay. Saleh sucks. Maybe he's in there as trying to bring us down. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Just tear you down from the inside out.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have any given Sunday bet. We'll put it up on the socials or on the feed, depending on who we do it with. I do like lately we've been going pick a receiver or something for a bit of a ladder. I like that. We kind of do make up a bit of cash there, hence why we're 14 units up in 3 weeks. So enjoy the weekend, mate, and bring on Monday.
Let's go. Let's go football.